Hey everyone, my name is Chloe and today I'm here to do the mid-year book freakout tag. So I'm one of the people who refuses to do this before June is over because I have had some of my favorite books come in at like the buzzer beater. Like last year, I think my very favorite book came in like the last week of December. So I wanted to wait to film this, but this tag is one of my all-time favorites because it's talking about all the standout books of the first half of the year. So I will link down below all my previous years. I'll also have the questions down below. So if you have a channel and did this, link it, let me know, or are going to do this, let me know. If you don't, let me know your answers because I love this tag. So let's just get into it. So the first question is best book you've read so far. And if you guys can't tell by like my end of the year videos, I cannot pick a best book for the life of me. I can give you 1,000 genres and maybe the top 5 in each of those, but for the sake of this video, I'm picking 2. So we have Keeping Lucy by T. Greenwood. So this one was not published this year, but it is one that I read this year. And this is about a mother. It's in the 1970s, late 60s, early 70s. A mother whose daughter is born with Down syndrome. And while she is like under from childbirth, her husband says, send her off to some institution. So now it's been 2 years. The baby's 2 years old. And she sees that bad things are happening at this institution. And so she goes to try to save her daughter. This book was so emotional. It had me stressed out. It was so good. It was so good. The other one I'm going to say is Trail of Lost Hearts by Tracey Garvis Graves. I don't have a copy of it, but I love this book. This is about a woman starting over, and she goes geocaching, and she meets this guy, and it's their romance, but it's also a lot of her starting over and just discovering herself and healing from past hurts, and it's so good. Like, it is a great mix of women's fiction and romance. If you like that kind of mix, I will say the romance is super sweet. I love the guy. He's a cinnamon roll hero, but not in like a I'm going to be walked all over way. Like, he is wonderful. I loved that book. So those are 2 very good books I've read. I am so scared to say they're the best books I've read, but they're very good books I read this year. Number 2, best sequel you've read so far. So I'm going to say Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. So this is taking it very loosely, the sequel thing, because this is number 3 in her Part of Your World series, or what, I don't know what it's called, but it was Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and then this one. They're all companions. You can read them all independently, but they're in the same world with the same kind of general cast of characters. So you see characters from other books come in. This is so good. This is about 2 people who think that they are both somewhat cursed. The next, every time they break up with someone, that person goes on to immediately find their soulmate, the love of their life. And so he posts about it on a Reddit thread, and she's like, "Hey, that happens to me too." She is a traveling nurse, and so he lives in Minnesota. She's about to go to Hawaii or something, but decides to change her assignment along with her foster sister best friend. They change their assignment and go to Minnesota, and they know that it's just for the summer, and these people have a connection. They both, what I love about this, that you guys know I'm not loving just straight romance right now, but this one has so much additional depth. They both, this book literally had me in tears at times because they both have mama stuff going on. They both have it's just so good. I don't want to say a whole lot. He gains custody of his siblings, so that's an added dynamic. She has a kind of estranged absentee mother come back into the picture. There's so much goodness in this. This was so good. I would highly recommend. Next is new release you still want to read. So all of them. I mean, you guys, my anticipated release videos have been somewhat epic lately because I just want to read all the things, but I'm going to narrow it down, and I'm going to say the Expectant Detective series. So number 2 is Dead Tired. It just came out. Expectant Detective came out last summer, I think, but this is a cozy mystery series. The first one is about a bunch of pregnant ladies who are, amateur sleuths, and then they're in the new one, Dead Tired, they're in the I think early toddler stage, and it's just so relatable, and I've really been craving a cozy mystery, so I really want to read that. The other one is Swan Song by HIlderbrand, not because I can't even remember what it's about. I just love reading HIlderbrand in the summer, and so I kind of want to read her newest one. So those are ones that I'm still really wanting to read, even though I have not. And I think they both came out in June. Then we have most anticipated book for the second half of the year. So I can't answer because, I mean, my goodness, there's 1,000. So I'm going to pick one, and I think it comes out here like July 9th, and it's This Used to Be Us by Renee Carlino. So it is a marriage in trouble. I think they're on the brink of divorce, and then they reminisce on what their years of marriage have been like. And the reason I want to read it is because I love Renee Carlino. I feel like she is one of the most underhyped authors here on BookTube and everywhere. I love her. But also because I love the movie The Story of Us with Bruce Willis and Michelle Pfeiffer. I've talked about it multiple times. I am not a movie watcher, but that one is one that I love. And it also kind of reminds me of After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which is a favorite book of mine. So I have high hopes for this, and I really want to read it. I'm on hold at the library, so hopefully I'll get it soon. Then we have Biggest Surprise. So I'm going to say Flirting with 40 by Jane Porter. This is one that has been on my shelf since, this was, I think, a Borders sticker. And when I was in college, I went to, I kind of college hopped, but I went to the University of Kansas for a year. And there was a Borders that I would go study in all the time. I'm guessing that is where I bought this. So I've had it since college, and I'm in my 30s now. So this has been sitting on my shelf forever. That may not be true. I may not have bought it then, but anyway, I know it's been sitting on my shelf forever. I just randomly picked it up. This cover doesn't look that appealing. The synopsis doesn't even sound that great, but this is about a woman who, her and her husband are getting divorced, and she decides, her best friend is like, hey, in January, your husband has the kids for a week. Let's go to Hawaii. And she's like, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to just move my misery there. And but then she reluctantly agrees. And she's at the airport, and her best friend is like, hey, my husband and kids are really sick. I can't leave them. I'm not going. And so she goes by herself. And again, it's a woman starting over. She meets this guy in Hawaii, but it's far more about the woman and her coming home and her defining herself now as a single lady amongst a bunch of couples, and trying to figure out who she is and how she fits in, and how much her role as mother has defined herself, and she's kind of lost herself, and how she has to refine herself. It was just so good. And I read this physically and couldn't stop reading it. It's also got pretty big font, and I really loved the reading experience, and I was shocked because I expected this to be just kind of middle of the road. The other kind of surprise is The Atonement Child by Francine Rivers. This cover leaves a lot to be desired, my goodness. And I was very intimidated by this book. I had never read a Francine Rivers. And so I read that, I picked this up expecting it to be a kind of heavy-handed Christian fiction, and it's not. This book made you think. It made your heart hurt. It was it was good. It was good. I do think the cover and the synopsis give away a little bit much. But it's about a woman who is the victim of a physical crime, and it results in a child, and kind of her journey through pregnancy and all of that, and the way people react to her pregnancy. So it was so good. I was shocked because I didn't have very high expectations between the cover, and I just thought Francine Rivers was going to be a little bit literary, a little bit preachy, and I didn't feel like it was. Then we have Newest Fictional Crush. New Favorite Author. So I'm going to say a middle grade author that we have loved is Claudia Mills. She writes so many great things. We've read her Math Equals Trouble series. We're reading Franklin School Friends. She has written so much, and she is so great for early elementary, second, third, fourth grade level chapter books. So good. I have loved almost everything we've read by her. Another one I would say was Abby Jimenez, because I had the impression, so first of all, her debut books, what were they called? Goodness gracious. It doesn't matter. But I did not read her debut book because I had heard it was about infertility and then an accidental baby or something, that it was I really, really despise that. Really despise that. And so I didn't read it. I also kind of wrote her off as a little more steamy than I wanted, all that. And she's not. I will say she has a moderate amount of steam, one or two, less than 5 scenes for sure. This part, Just for the Summer, was not bad at all. And there is some language, so she's not clean or sweet, but she's not nearly as bad as I thought she was. And her subject matter has just gotten better and better and better. And the way she weaves depth into romance is something I have really enjoyed. And then last, I'll say Francine Rivers, because I have never read her before. And now I've read like a biblical fiction series by her. I've read Atonement Child. I have Redeeming Love. I have a lot, and I'm really excited to read them all. Now we have newest fictional crush. So that's not really a thing for me. I don't really have fictional crushes just because, I don't know, I'm not a romantic person at all, you guys. Even like, I don't know, I was bad at crushes when I was in the dating years, but I'm going to say the guy here in Ready or Not, I can't remember his name. I think it was Shep, maybe. But this book is about a woman who finds herself unexpectedly pregnant from a one-night stand, and her best friend's brother, I think, who kind of takes her in and takes care of her. He is really, really sweet to her. I love a cinnamon roll hero. That's definitely a story of a cinnamon roll hero. I've read some lately, like Cole and Laila Are Just Friends by Bethany Turner. That's got a really good, like, cinnamon roll hero. I love a good cinnamon roll. So there's that. Then we have book that made you cry. So literally Abby Jimenez book. But then I'm going to say like Dandelion Dust by Karen Kingsbury. I probably have it. I should have grabbed it. But this book is a parent, a court case over a child so this child was adopted at birth. Mom gave him up because dad was abusive and dad was in jail. And so she said, I don't want to risk raising this child and having him come back and hurt the child. And so she gave him up for adoption. However, she forged her husband's signature. And so now it's 5 years later, the man is getting out of jail and he wants his child. And so the people that are raising him are just wonderful people. Like that's their only child. They dote on him. They love him. Of course, as you would. And that's their son. And now that's being threatened because the whole adoption is not valid since it was a forged signature. So it's a battle of who gets the kid. It's a battle of like, how much am I as a Christian willing to do to protect my child? It was hard. It was heavy, but it was so good. Next is worst book you've read so far. So I really don't like talking about these. I've had a handful of DNFs, but I don't think I'm going to count that as like read. So I'll say The Anniversary by Cole Baxter, didn't like that. The Girl in the News by Elisabeth Carpenter, didn't like that. Beautiful Bad by Annie Ward, didn't like that. Those are ironically all kind of thriller-esque, but all just ones I didn't like. Then we have Most Beautiful Book You've Acquired. So I'm just choosing from the stack that you're about to see, actually, I think this week in my July or June in and out. So those are, I am only going from those. So this one I think is so pretty, The Promise of Stardust by Priscille Shibley. I can't even remember what this is about, but I just think that is a really pretty cover, really intriguing. Then, oh my goodness, Finding Christmas by Karen Schaler. Yes, just put me in that gazebo. That's so cute. And then also, I don't know why I love this, The One I Want. These kind of have similar rainy day vibes. So I don't know. I think these are, Allison's Winn is an author that I really like to read. But I don't know why I'm so drawn to these covers right now. So I'm going to say that. And then last is book still on your 2024 TBR. So I make monthly TBRs. I do not do seasonal or annual because it overwhelms me. Even monthly kind of gets me sometimes. So all of them. I mean, I have... I'm sitting here with a stack that I have to haul for this, for this month, and I want to read all of those. I want to read all the ones I've hauled in June and May, and all the hauls. My bookshelf is overflowing, and when I look at it, I get equal parts excited and overwhelmed and resentful that I'm not reading. So all the books are on my TBR, and that is everything. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know your answers. Like I said, I love this tag. I love doing this tag. I love hearing the answers to this tag because it's an opportunity to gush about the books that you've loved and just look back on 6 months of a lot of reading and great reading. And it makes me excited for the 6 months to come. So thank you again. We'll see you in the next one.